Hello students, welcome to my channel Classroom for Class 10th. Today we are going to learn about Vietnam and its fight against two colonizers. So let us learn about Vietnam in 19th century and 20th century. Before we start learning about Vietnam, let us see its position on the world map. It is south of China and its neighboring countries are Thailand, Cambodia, Burma, and in the eastern side it is surrounded by South China Sea. It is like a narrow strip extending from north to south. Now let us see Vietnam's position on world map. Now, Vietnam is here, a small country. It is south of China and its neighboring countries are Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Burma. They are neighboring countries of Vietnam. And on the western side of Vietnam is South China Sea. Now see the position of Japan from Vietnam. Here we can see Japan. It is south of China and southwest of Japan. Now find out France on the world map. Here we can see France and here Vietnam. One more country which was involved in Vietnam was America. Here America and here Vietnam. Now on the world map we can see that Vietnam is in the Southeast Asia and France is in the western part of the world. America is in the far western part of the world, that is the quite opposite of Vietnam. Now if we see the globe we can see that America is on the opposite side of Vietnam and France is also very far from Vietnam. Now let us start the history of Vietnam. Vietnam came under the French rule in the middle of 19th century. But the French retained the puppet emperor in Vietnam. But all the financial power and administrative power were in the hands of French. It started to influence culture, tradition and all the aspects of life in Vietnam as Britishers tried to influence India during its colonial era. Now we will learn what were the occupation of Vietnamese people. It was mainly cultivation, and cultivation of rice and rubber was the main agricultural product of Vietnam. Now students, let us open our textbook page number 192 and we can see there is a heading Exports, Landlordism and Peasants. Now if we read this paragraph, we can summarize this in this way. French wanted to make Vietnam as an exporter of rice. For this they started threefold strategy. First was improving irrigation. So they tried to develop irrigation network and they encouraged landlordism so that they can give a direct order to the landlords for the cultivation. And they encouraged marketing for rice and rubber. They were the cash crop and they wanted to make it be sold in the international market. Mekong Delta was increased for cultivation. This delta was very fertile, so it was mainly chosen for the cultivation of rice and rubber. Now we can see by 1931 it had become the third largest exporter of rice in the world. This was followed by infrastructure projects like road and railways to help in the transport of goods to move from one place to another and to move the military garrison also from one place to another. France exported 2/3 of Vietnamese rice in the international market and it has become the world's third largest exporter of rice. When the landlordism increased, the condition of peasants became deteriorated. The lands became concentrated in the hands of French people and in the hands of few elite Vietnamese. And the people, common people of Vietnam become very poor and they became landless. So they were under debt. Whenever they needed money, they had to borrow money from the money lenders. And on those money, they have to pay high interest rate and they have to pay taxes as well. So their standard of living become very wretched, and it started deteriorating in the French colonial era. They were forced labor. The poor peasants, they had to work on the land of the landlords. Not only that, they had to pay a share of their produce to the landlords. So in this way, they had to pay the taxes in two forms, in the form of produce and in the form of working in their field as well as in their households. And they were the great sufferer at the hand of both French as well as at the hand of the landlords of Vietnam. Now, if we see the data, we can see that the landless people's number were increasing day by day. And in Annam, there is a region named Annam where the landless people increased by 53%. And in Tonkin, it is also a place in Vietnam. Here the landless people's number increased by 58%. And in Cochin, China, it was increased by 78%. Now even small peasants who had lands were close to starvation. Now let us see what were the effects of landlordism. First of all, we can see that peasants worked as tenants under landlords. That was the forced labor. They suffered under money lenders because the peasants became very poor and time to time they had to take money from the money lenders. So they were under debt and they have to pay high interest rates, high land rents and high taxes. Thus we can see that due to the spread of landlordism, the peasants were the great sufferers. The colonial rulers, either British or French, they thought the colonial people as uncivilized. So they tried to start a civilizing mission. As the British started in India by giving English education to the Indian people, in the same way French also starting civilizing mission. In this mission, they wanted to educate Vietnamese native people. But at the same time, they also feared that if the common people will get education, they may question the colonial rule. And not only this, they were feared that if the native were educated, then they may lose the job as teachers, doctors, and high rank in military. So they may lose white collar jobs. That's why they started higher education in the French language. Only the primary education was in the Vietnamese language. And they made the school education such a tough that only few Vietnamese could pass the school leaving examination. So in this way we can see that on one hand the French people wanted to have educated elite group so that they can do the official work, and on the other hand they were getting fear of being questioned by the colonial people or the native people. Not only this, the textbooks which were taught to the children in the primary or secondary level, they all glorified the French colonial system, and they justified it. Not only they glorified, but they justified the colonial rule. So in this way we can see that the people who got educated, they could understand what was the motto of the French colonial ruler. So slowly and slowly class was getting prepared or getting ready to fight against the colonial power. Now let us summarize the topic the civilizing mission. Now I have taken this topic under some points like colonial power thought native people as uncivilized. They thought education for natives. Educated people may question colonial domination. This was the fear among the colonial power. Fear of losing jobs. Only few Vietnamese could pass school leaving exams because the higher studies were made in French language. Now the school textbooks glorified French and justified colonial rule. Now students, the impact of a civilizing mission was very interesting. The teachers in the school, they modified the textbook and they taught the children according to the national interest. They modified the textbooks and criticized the colonial ruler. As they were educated, they could understand what is good and what is bad. So in this way, what was in the national interest, they started doing for that purpose. The students, those who were educated, they had to fight against two fronts, against a French colonial ruler and against a group of elite which were in favor of colonial system for their vested interest. Many political parties were formed by the students in 1920s. As an example, Young Annan. It was founded in 1920s and it published many journals which were filled with patriotic feelings and which were for the encouragement of the which were meant for the encouragement of the Vietnamese people. Now this topic, emergence of Vietnamese nationalism. Now let us summarize this topic under points. Teachers and students opposed the curriculum which were made for the education of the children. That curriculum was opposed and amended. Teachers taught according to national interest. They modified the text and criticized the rulers. Patriotic feeling arose and political parties formed by students in 1920s. As an example, Young Annam was formed. As the nationalism arose in Vietnam, more and more students went to Japan for modern education. The students were inspired by Sun Yat-sen in China, who started Chinese Republican movement. So they were inspired by Sun Yat-sen, and they also went to China, France, and later on they went to Russia to study the modern education. In between, there was a Great Depression in 1930s, due to which the poor people of Vietnamese suffered a lot. The price of rubber came down. This led to the rising rural debt, unemployment, and rural uprising. The French suppressed these uprisings with great cruelty. They even used planes to bomb the demonstrators. Now there was a rise of Ho Chi Minh. He was a Vietnamese Communist Party. He was the leader of Vietnamese Communist Party. Ho Chi Minh, he was a great leader of Vietnam and he had spent some time in France and in Russia also. He established Vietnamese Communist Party and later on he named it as Indo-Chinese Communist Party. He was greatly inspired by the militant demonstrations of European communist parties. Now let us explain the another points under this heading, that is emergence of Vietnamese nationalism. There is South Vietnam was occupied by Japan in 1940. So now Vietnamese now have to fight both France and Japan. They did not want any power, either Japan or France should be there in their country. So they have to fight now both the powers. And France was occupied by Hitler in Second World War. As we knew, during the Second World War, Hitler's power was very much increasing and France became weak and Hitler occupied whole France. The League for the Independence of Vietnam, also known as Vietminh, fought Japanese and captured Hanoi in 1945. Democratic Republic of Vietnam was formed and Ho Chi Minh became chairman of independent Vietnam. Now, what were the important works that Ho Chi Minh started for Vietnamese? When Ho Chi Minh became chairman of Vietnam in 1945, he immediately issued a circular for a 25% reduction in land rents. He also cancelled all secondary rents and all in the outstanding rent and owed by tenants before August 1945. This government adopted the policy of redistributing communal land and land owned by French and Vietnamese traitors. Those who went against Vietnam and helped French colonial power, their land was occupied and redistributed among the landless Vietnamese people. The new Republic of Vietnam was formed in August 1945. But the Republic had to face many challenges. Let us summarize this topic under points. The new Republic had to face many challenges. France tried to regain power by using Bao Dai, the old emperor. The French military power forced Vietminh to retreat to hills. Who is Vietminh? It is the League for the Independence of Vietnam. The League for the Independence of Vietnam, it is also called Vietminh, and Vietminh was forced to retreat to the hills. But after 8 years, French was defeated in 1954 at Dien Bien Phu. It is a place in Vietnam called Dien Bien Phu. Peace negotiations took place in Geneva, and the Vietnamese people were persuaded to divide the country into North and South Vietnam. Thus, after Geneva negotiation, Vietnam was divided into two parts, North Vietnam and South Vietnam. North Vietnam came under the control of Ho Chi Minh, who was the chairman of the party Vietminh. First, it started a very soft policy of redistributing the land among the landless peasants and reduction of the land rents. But later on, it started a very tough policy, and it captured the land of those landlords who mainly supported Japan and France during the fight for independence. So their lands were confiscated and redistributed among the landless people. In the South Vietnam was handed over to the old emperor, who was removed by Nhu Dinh Diem. Nhu Dinh Diem adopted a very suppressive policy, and it started a dictatorial type of governance, opposed all the opposition and punished them. But soon an uprising grew in South Vietnam. In the North Vietnam, the peasants whose dream was to have a land and to become the owner of a land, they become very happy, and they were the hardcore supporter of Ho Chi Minh. Students, as I have showed you in the map, USA so far from Vietnam. Why he entered into the war? He had nothing to do with Vietnam. Neither Vietnam was its colony, nor Vietnam was involved in the world wars. So why US entered into Vietnam war? There are many reasons. The communist idea was spreading. The North Vietnam was already under the Communist Party of Ho Chi Minh. That is Vietminh. And the south part of Vietnam was under the suppressive rule of the emperor Nhu Dinh Minh. And he started a very dictatorial type of suppressive rule. people went against him, and many people started supporting Ho Chi Minh's idea, and they came under the banner of a National Liberation Front, which was supported by Vietnam. So US took a very false cause, and it started to jump into war. Vietnam was newly independent country, and still it was fighting for the unification. So it had very less military power, and no any strong weapon or modern weapon, but still the feeling of nationalism and patriotism was great. The people of Vietnam was not ready to lose their independence at any cost. The common people were very much encouraged. They were ready to give anything, even their life, for the sake of their country. And another thing is why USA was defeated in Vietnamese war. Vietnamese war was a guerrilla warfare. The military of US, they had a very little knowledge for the terrain of Vietnam. They did not know where is the jungle, and where are rivers, and where are the marshy lands, whereas the Vietnamese army, they were very much acquainted with their terrain. A network of tunnel was constructed, and whenever there was an attack, they tried to hide themselves under the tunnel, and whenever the USA military was seen, they came from the tunnel and started to attack on them. So in this type of warfare, Vietnamese military power got an upper hand. This was one of the reason. And one more reason is that USA common people's opposition towards the government. The common people understood the uselessness of the involvement of US military power in Vietnamese war. They were fed up and tired of the long lasting warfare. Many young people were sacrificed in Vietnam for nothing. And the Congress also started opposing the government's policy. The new president started campaign that if he will come to the power, he will withdraw USA from the Vietnamese war. So these were the reason why USA involved in the war, and why it was defeated and it had to retreat. Now let us sum up this topic under points. The entry of US into the war. The first point is National Liberation Front under Ho Chi Minh's chairmanship, and that is Vietnamese party tried for the unification of Vietnam, and it was not acceptable by USA. So US was afraid of spread of communist ideas in the Southeast Asian countries. Not only in Vietnam, the neighboring countries like Laos, Cambodia, Indonesia, they may be influenced by the communist idea of China and USSR, and that USA did not want. USA entry costed both the countries very much. They used chemical weapons like napalm and Agent Orange. Napalm was a deadly bomb which caused intense damage to humans, and Agent Orange, it destroyed the plants and trees and made the land barren for a long time. And there were also phosphorus bombs. So in this way we can see that USA, which was ready with all the chemical weapons, were unable to made victory over Vietnam, which was a very small and poor country and which got independence very recently. In the textbook page number 197, students read this paragraph and we can understand how USA government's policy was opposed by their people in their own country. The effect of the war was felt within the US as well. Many people criticized the government for getting involved in a war that was hard to defend. When the youth were selected for the war, the anger spread. The continuation of the war created strong reaction even within the US. Many people questioned the government policy, and this helped to negotiate an end to the war. A peace settlement was signed in Paris in January 1974. This ended the conflict with the US, but fighting between the Saigon regime and the NLF continued. The NLF occupied the presidential palace in Saigon on 30th April 1975 and finally unified Vietnam. Children, before we end up this topic, let us see some pictures of Vietnamese war with US. We can see the pictures how the bombs were dropped from the helicopters and how the fire broke out in the jungles of Vietnam, how the Vietnamese military are crossing the waterlogged areas. So these are the pictures of the US and Vietnamese war. We can see the massacre of Vietnamese people. These pictures were published in the newspaper of USA during the war time, by seeing which the USA common people came against their government. They took out banners and placards and started to protest against their government. Thus, students, we have come to an end to this topic, that is Vietnamese war against their colonial power. In my next video, I will explain the topic Nigeria and its fight against colonial power, and this topic will also come under chapter number 13. Till then, goodbye students. Please like, subscribe and share my channel. Thank you very much.